Hey guys, my name is Evan and welcome to Country View Acres. So here recently I haven't had many videos because I've had a busy work schedule. I've worked 52 nights in a row, and during that time Rebecca has done all the evening chores. I've let the animals out in the morning, but she's put the animals up, she's fed and watered them every night, cleaned out the barn, so she's done all the chores on her own for almost the last 2 months. So I think she's really happy to finally, I'm done with my work schedule. I just got off work this morning, and I think she's happy to finally have somebody to help her in the evenings now. So haven't had much of an update here since I've worked that busy work schedule. So I thought maybe we'd go around and check out the animals, see how they're doing. You can obviously tell the turkeys are still here. That was one of the last things we did, is we moved the turkeys over to the barn. We didn't know whether they'd stay or not, and they've stuck around. So let's go ahead and check out the turkeys and see how they're doing. So we ended up with 3 heritage breed turkeys, and these are a Royal Palm. And at first we didn't think we maybe had a Tom. It took him a little while to get bigger and get feathered out, but you can see he's completely feathered out now. He's a beautiful bird. Yeah, we got 2 hens and 1 Tom. And they just pretty much stay inside of the fence. They get out every once in a while and we have to let them back in, but they roam the pasture out here. They roam out here with the steers, and first thing in the morning they come out and they go over to the feed trough for the steers and see if there's any grain, anything left in there for them to eat. But they roam the farthest. The chickens don't go very far, but these turkeys, they get out there in the pasture and really roam around. So Rebecca said the turkeys have pretty much got into a routine where they'll go up into the barn at night. So at the beginning, the turkeys would roost on this fence right here on the side of the barn, and then they would actually get up onto the roof up here sometimes and fly up there. So she's got a broom over here that she would use to shoo them off of the roof. But she said now that, you know, they've been going through this routine for almost 2 months, so now the turkeys about just head directly into the barn and go up at night. So the turkeys have been staying in the pen that we call our brooder. It's a fenced-in area that we used to, we'd raise our chicks in. And this has actually worked out fairly well. We can leave this open during the day, and they can get up here on this roost and they can eat their feed out of this trough right here. And it's tall enough that the goats can't eat out of it. So that was the main worry, is we didn't want the goats gorging themselves on turkey feed. And then the turkeys can just pretty much come and go. The chickens come in here and clean up a little bit. But yeah, the turkeys are pretty much, I open them up in the morning and let them out. And they're free range the rest of the day. So far they've stayed here, and they're very friendly. You can see he's not scared of me whatsoever. They actually come right up to you. When you come out here, they'll run in and run up to the gate because they want to see what you're doing. So everybody here in the barnyard's doing good. The goats, the chickens, the cats, and the turkeys. And then we still got the 2 feeder steers that we got out here on pasture that we're raising, and then we have our 2 feeder pigs in the trees that we're raising in the trees on the other side of the barn, and those pigs are huge. So let's go ahead and check them out. So here's our 2 feeder pigs. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, these guys are huge. You can tell from the side. So this is our female here. She's always been the bigger one of the 2, but the male has definitely caught up. And he's the one on the back there. He used to have, his back used to have a little bit of a hump in it because he got stepped on as a, when he was a baby. But you can't hardly tell it anymore now. These guys are big. So let me see if I can get in there and measure them. And if you take some measurements, you should get a rough weight estimate on how much these guys weigh. All right, so to get these guys to stay in place, I'm gonna give them some eggs. They love eggs. I can sacrifice a couple eggs just to get their weight. Get up in there. So Some of these weeds, you guys haven't even touched so much of these weeds. Don't freak out. Oh. Man, you guys are huge. These are definitely the biggest pigs we've ever raised. So from between their ears to their tail where they're eating, 56 or 57 inches, 56 inches. And then I gotta try to reach around this big pig and try to get a measurement around its belly, and it's been laying in a mud wall. Oh, this is not gonna, oh man, I can barely get my arms around you. 55. 55 is the girth around her. I think she's the biggest. And then 56 for the length. So, if I remember this right, you take the girth times itself and then times the length, divide that by 400. I believe that's what it is. So 55 times 55 times 56 divided by 400. Holy cow. 423.5 pounds. She's weighing in at over 400 pounds. Now he's smaller. I can definitely tell that I'm in here that he's definitely smaller. He's more skittish though. I don't think I'll get a measurement on him. Just from me standing here, he walked around and stood on that side. Okay, so I just went ahead and looked up the formula to make sure I was calculating it right. And I had it right. So she's roughly 423 pounds, somewhere in there. So she is huge. That is a big pig right there. And so the problem I had, you're really shooting for like 250 pounds, 275, you know, somewhere in there is probably what I would shoot for. And she is way bigger than that. Now the problem I had is that butchers are booked out 6 months in advance. With COVID, everybody's been using their local butcher and buying locally to get meat. So I think that's a good thing, but the bad thing is you really have to plan ahead. So I knew I was going to have this really busy work schedule where I was going to be working for like 2 months and wouldn't be able to take these pigs to the butcher. So I either had to set a date before that or set a date after that. And last year the pigs ended up being a little bit smaller than I wanted them to be. They weren't quite 250 pounds. So this year, instead of taking the chance on them being smaller, I opted to wait till after my busy work schedule and raise them longer. And I definitely raised them way long enough because, yeah, they got an extra 150 pounds on them that they didn't need, pretty much. So that's the reason why I still have the pigs and why I haven't gone to the butcher. Their date is actually around the 1st of November. So I've still got like another 4 weeks to keep these pigs, or 3.5 weeks to keep them. Cow's being lazy. Wants to ride. So I decided to come out here to the hayfield to see how it was doing. We just planted this actually during my busy work schedule. I came out here, I decided I would get up a few hours early for several days. I came out here, worked the field, got lime spread on the field, got the seed spread on the field, rolled it all in. And that took me about a week and a half to get this all prepped and planted. And that was a rough couple weeks, I will say that. Getting up early and working out here for a couple hours and then going working a 12-hour night shift, that was a rough couple weeks. And then after that, I was so worn out that I I really did not have any energy to come out and try to film anything before I went to work any other day. So after that, I just didn't film anything. But you know, overall, I think this turned out really good. So you can see it's really filled in. It's filled in real nicely, almost looks like a lawn. And there's a little bit of a strip down the middle where it's not quite as thick. And then there's some of the perimeter has been a little bit slow to fill in. But as you walk the perimeter, you can see that grass is coming up. It's just not quite as thick or as tall as the rest of the grass. But overall, I think the hayfield looks really, really good. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. So I know I had some people ask why I put so much seed down. I ended up putting about 49 pounds per acre on here. And the reason that being is well, one, I think it just increased my chances of success, you know. So better chance of getting some grass to grow. But the other thing is I had to buy 50-pound bags. So I bought a 50-pound bag of each variety. And by the time it all worked out, by the time I had all the seed for the mix, I just decided to put it all down. So that ended up being 49 pounds an acre instead of just using half of it and sitting it on the shelf where it doesn't get used for a year or two and it may go bad. So I thought it was better, since I just had bought all of it, to use all of it, and it turned out pretty good. So pretty happy with the results. Hey, buddy. Hey, Chuck. You got a bunch of cockaburs on your head, buddy. Well, you ate all that. Get your head out. Get your head out of there. Hey, you gotta wait till I'm done. Man, you're not very patient. There you go. So we have the same problem with the steers as we did the pigs. We ended up setting their butcher date after my busy work schedule. So, so these guys don't go till the beginning of November. And these guys are huge, same as the pigs. I'm not sure exactly how big these guys are because this is our first steers that we've ever raised. And I'm gonna guess that they're at least 1,200 pounds, maybe bigger than that. These guys are some big boys. Now the one here, he is probably the biggest. This is Chuck right here. And the good thing about these guys is they have been very friendly. They weren't bottle calves, but they've always been handled and stuff, so they've been very friendly steers to raise. And Rebecca's got them eaten out of her hand, and she's gotten where she can rub all over their head and scratch them and everything. So they're very friendly steers, very well behaved. So I think for our first time raising steers, we got very lucky to have such a good pair to raise. So I know that beef cattle can be very skittish and not very friendly, and these guys have been very good. So they'll be here for another 3.5 weeks or so, and then they'll go to the butcher. And then once that happens, the pigs and the steers go to the butcher. We're gonna have, you know, quite a few less animals to have to take care of over the winter time, which is actually the way we would prefer it. So we'll just have really goats and chickens and turkeys to kind of keep track of in the winter time, and everything's just going to be a lot easier then. And I think for us, that's about the perfect way to do it, is raise the majority of our animals through the spring, summer, and fall, and then in the winter time kind of go down a little bit to lower numbers and make it easier in those winter months. You be good. Yep. So as I look over the property, everywhere I look, there is work that needs to be done. And it's been building up over the last couple months. There's quite a bit that needs to be done around here. So I think one of the things I want to do first, I just want to do a good cleanup around the property. The whole place needs to be brush hogged, weed eated. It just needs a good cleanup before wintertime. And then I've got tractors that need repaired. I've got firewood that needs split. And then I've got the whole pole barn project, which is just huge in itself, all the work that needs to be done on the inside. So quite a bit of stuff that I need to get done. Glad to finally be off nights, back on my normal work schedule. I normally work 4 days a week. I got 3 days off on the weekends, and that's normally when I do all of my work around here that you guys see. So glad to finally have my weekends back so I can get some stuff done around here. But I think for tonight, I think that's it for tonight. Tonight I'm going to relax. It's my first day off. I don't know, is it really my first day off? I got off work at 6:30 this morning and I've slept for a few hours. I don't know if you call this a day off, but definitely my first night off. So I think I'm gonna relax tonight and enjoy it. And then tomorrow I'll start cleaning this place up. See if we can get it all mowed down and get it looking pretty good. So anyway, I think that's it for today's video. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.